Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. We are a non-commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we're getting better. My name is Artem and here is the news. 314 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky informed in his video address that Ukraine together with its partners must strengthen its defense as Russia is preparing new mobilization. Quote, "We have no doubt that the current masters of Russia will throw everything they have left and everyone they can muster to try to turn the tide of the war and at least postpone their defeat," unquote. Zelensky stressed that Ukraine has to disrupt Russian plans and any attempt at their new offensive must fail. This will be the final defeat of the terrorist state, believes the president of Ukraine. He had phone calls with the prime ministers of Canada, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom and Norway yesterday. According to him, Norway is ready to help provide Ukraine with the necessary volume of gas for this winter. Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal said the damage caused to the Ukrainian economy as a result of the war exceeds $700 billion, reports Interfax Ukraine. He announced plans to conduct another verification of Ukraine's needs for a speedy restoration together with the World Bank. Shmyhal reminded that back in June the assessed figure of damages was $350 billion, but it was before the attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure. The Prime Minister informed that almost $1 billion is allocated in the national budget for the current year for restoration. Plus, Ukraine's plan to use for this purpose funds seized from Russian banks in the amount of $460 million. Shmyhal stressed that the first priority is the destroyed housing of people. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan plans to hold telephone conversations with his Ukrainian and Russian counterparts Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin on Wednesday, reports European Pravda. No details were provided on possible topics of these conversations. Erdogan last spoke with Zelensky on December 11th when they discussed Turkey's humanitarian aid, the Grain from Ukraine initiative, the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and the peace formula. Valery Zaluzhny, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine, spoke with Mark Milley, the chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, on the phone for the first time this year, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Zaluzhny informed about the heavy fighting that is ongoing on the Svatova-Kremenna frontier and in the Lysychansk area in Donbass. The situation in the Soledar-Bakhmut-Mayorsk area remains the most complicated. The Russians are basically trying to advance by marching over the corpses of their fellow soldiers there, but the defense forces of Ukraine are making tremendous efforts to hold back the offensive. Ukraine's commander added that Ukraine's forces are holding the defensive lines on the Zaporizhzhia front securely and making efforts to protect the city of Kherson from Russian attacks. The commander-in-chief also said that Russians had launched 14 attacks using cruise missiles and deployed 94 Shahed kamikaze drones in the period from 31st December to the morning of January 3rd. SpaceX's Falcon 9 launched 2 Ukrainian satellites into orbit, reports Censor. The first one will help to gather agro-oriented data and the second to obtain the performance characteristics of heat pipes in microgravity and identify possible emissions and advantages in the process of further development of heat pipes for various space vehicles. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. Check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.